All right, let's dive in. Today we're taking a closer look at Capture His Heart and Make Him Love You Forever. We'll be using Michael Furie's YouTube review as our guide. So, what does this program promise women who, are looking for lasting love?
Well, it seems to equip women with the tools and knowledge they need to attract their ideal partner and build a fulfilling relationship.
Right off the bat, Fury drops this bombshell. Men, especially the good ones, are scared of women. That's a pretty bold statement, right? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's definitely attention grabbing, no doubt about that. But if you look past the initial shock, I think it points to some deeper truths about how men and women relate to each other. Fury argues that society kind of conditions men to be strong and stoic, and that leaves them unsure of how to deal with the complexities of a woman's emotions.
So maybe it's not fear exactly, but more like hesitation or discomfort, like they just don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that men are afraid of women themselves. It's more about the challenges they face in being vulnerable and processing strong emotions. And those are essential for real connection.
That makes sense. Fury then goes into three specific male anxieties women should be aware of. First, emotions. He says men see women's emotions as intense and unpredictable, and they're afraid of them. Could this be why some men seem distant or shut down in relationships?
It's possible, for sure. And again, it ties back to how men are raised. They often have trouble putting their feelings into words or even really understanding them. That leads to, misunderstandings and communication breakdowns in relationships. The program suggests that women who recognize this fear can approach those situations with more empathy, and that can lead to better communication, stronger bonds.
I see. So it's not about blaming men, it's about understanding why they act that way, and then figuring out how to bridge that gap. Okay, fear number two, rejection. We all experience it, but Fury says it's a huge obstacle for men in the dating world.
Right. He describes men standing at the bar, too scared to approach a woman because they might get rejected. It goes back to this idea that men tie their self-worth to their romantic successes. So rejection hurts their ego, triggers those deeper insecurities.
Interesting. So how does Capture His Heart address this fear of rejection?
Well, it suggests that if women are aware of this fear, they can make themselves more approachable. They can make it easier for a man to initiate contact and feel confident in showing interest.
So women kind of take a more active role in creating that connection, letting the guy know his advances are welcome. That makes sense. All right, fear number three, the Mr. Perfect syndrome. Fury claims that women who are looking for Mr. Perfect actually intimidate men. Is this about unrealistic expectations, or is there something more to it?
I think it's probably a bit of both. We all have an idea of our ideal partner, right? But we need to stay open to the possibility that Mr. Right might not check off every box on the list.
Yeah, being too rigid can be a problem.
Exactly. The program encourages women to look beyond those superficial things and focus on qualities like kindness, respect, shared values. If you accept that nobody's perfect, dating becomes more relaxed, more authentic, and that allows genuine connections to develop.
So it's less about lowering your standards and more about being open to different ways those values can show up in a person. Okay, so Fury described the difference in how men and women approach love as a Grand Canyon. Women, he says, crave intensity and drama, while men want normalcy and calm. Is there any truth to that, or is it just a stereotype?
It's definitely a generalization. And, we have to be careful about making sweeping statements about entire genders, but it does highlight how misunderstandings and conflicts can happen if those different needs aren't acknowledged.
It's true. So what does Capture His Heart suggest women do about this Grand Canyon issue?
Well, the program argues that by understanding these differences, women can create a relationship that's both exciting and secure, something that satisfies both partners.
So it's about finding that sweet spot where there's passion, but also stability. All right, Capture His Heart seems to offer women a roadmap to navigate all this complicated stuff about love and attraction. So what are some of the key techniques for attracting Mr. Right?
One that stood out to me is called the hunter principle. This idea plays on men's desire to chase and win over their partner. They want that sense of accomplishment.
That's interesting, but doesn't that sound a bit manipulative? Shouldn't a relationship be about mutual effort, equal partnership?
I see your point, and it's definitely something to think about. But Capture His Heart isn't advocating for manipulation or playing games. It's about, well, living your own life, having your own interest, not always being available. Let the man feel like he has to earn your attention and affection.
So it's about understanding male psychology, not tricking anyone. using it to create a relationship that's more balanced.
That's right. It's more about understanding the natural flow of attraction and letting things happen organically instead of forcing it or playing games.
I can see how that could be beneficial in the long run. Now, what about these other techniques? What's the gateway technique all about?
That's another interesting aspect. It's all about the power of nonverbal communication. The idea is that women can signal their interest and create attraction through body language, eye contact, tone of voice.
So basically, understanding those subconscious cues men pick up on and using them to your advantage. But that sounds kind of like a secret code or something. Is that what it's about?
From what I gathered from Fury's review, it's not about being fake. It's more about tapping into your genuine warmth and femininity and letting those qualities come through in how you interact with men.
So not changing who you are, just letting your true self shine and attract the right kind of guy. That's a powerful idea.
It is, and it ties into the program's overall focus on self-love and acceptance, which we'll explore more in the next part of our deep dive.
It sounds like we have a lot more to unpack with Capture His Heart and Make Him Love You Forever. Stick with us, listeners, as we continue to explore this intriguing program and its potential to help women find lasting love.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Capture His Heart and Make Him Love You Forever. It's fascinating how this program really gets into the psychology of attraction. Goes beyond those surface-level dating tips.
Totally. In the last part, we talked about some of the fears men have in relationships, like rejection and the pressure to be Mr. Perfect. And Capture His Heart seems to want to help women understand those fears so they can handle things better.
Exactly. And understanding that is so key to creating a dating experience that's safe and comfortable for everyone. Remember the hunter principle we talked about, the idea that men, they thrive on the thrill of the chase, and they feel good when they win a woman over.
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that one. I get the idea of being independent and letting the relationship develop naturally, but I don't want to feel like I'm playing games.
I get that. But remember, the hunter principle, the way it's presented in the program, isn't about being manipulative or playing hard to get. It's more about, well, creating a dynamic where a man feels drawn to pursue you, to put in the effort.
So it's about finding that balance. Being approachable, but still a little mysterious.
Yeah.
Letting the man feel like he's part of the process, right?
Exactly. Understanding that dance of attraction and responding in a way that keeps him interested. But Capture His Heart really stresses that this only works if it's genuine, if you're letting your true personality shine through.
So it's about attracting him with who you really are, not some act. That makes a lot more sense. Now, you mentioned earlier that the program talks about self-love and acceptance too.
Yes, and that's really where it stands out, I think. It's not just about the outside stuff. It's about going on this journey of self-discovery, learning to truly love and appreciate yourself.
I can see how that would be transformative. I mean, you can't expect to attract a good relationship if you don't love yourself first, right?
Yeah. Right. Fury says that when you radiate confidence and self-assurance, it's magnetic. Men are naturally drawn to women who are comfortable in their own skin, who know their worth.
So it's not about changing who you are to please someone else. It's about being the best version of yourself and attracting someone who appreciates that.
That's exactly it. It's about empowering women to step into their power, embrace what makes them unique, and create a life that feels true to themselves.
It sounds like this program takes a really holistic approach to finding love. It deals with the inner stuff and the outer stuff.
Absolutely. And it acknowledges that attracting a partner is only one piece of the puzzle. To build a lasting, fulfilling relationship, you need open communication, mutual respect, and a shared vision.
Now let's go back to the gateway technique for a minute. You said it's about nonverbal communication, right? Can you give some examples of how that works?
Sure. So the gateway technique is about using things like body language, eye contact, and tone of voice to create a connection, a sense of attraction. It's about sending signals that make a man feel seen, heard, and appreciated.
So it's not like a set of tricks or anything, but more about being aware of how you present yourself,
Yeah.
using your natural expressions to show interest and create a warm feeling.
Exactly. Capture His Heart is all about authenticity, letting your personality come through, expressing genuine interest and affection through nonverbal cues.
It's amazing how much communication happens on that level, beyond words. I bet mastering those cues would make a huge difference in how you connect with people, not just romantically.
Absolutely. And that's what I find so interesting about Capture His Heart. It's not just a bunch of dating tips. It's a guide to understanding how we interact on a deeper level, both consciously and subconsciously.
It's like a mix of practical advice and psychological insights. It helps women approach dating with confidence and a deeper understanding of themselves and the men they're hoping to attract.
I like that. It emphasizes that finding love isn't about playing games or trying to force someone to like you. It's about being your true self, your most radiant self, and letting the right connection happen organically.
Okay, so Fury also talks about creating emotional safety for men, which goes back to those fears we talked about. Why is that emotional safety so important in a relationship, and how can women create that for their partners?
Well, remember, a lot of men have trouble processing and expressing their emotions because of societal conditioning. That can make them guarded, hesitant to open up.
I see. So if a woman can create a safe space where a man feels comfortable being vulnerable, expressing himself without judgment or fear of rejection, then he can overcome those barriers and really connect on a deeper level.
Exactly. Capture His Heart suggests that women can do this by being supportive listeners, validating their partner's feelings, and not criticizing or dismissing their emotions. It's about creating an environment where men feel safe to be themselves, knowing that their vulnerability will be met with empathy and acceptance.
So it's about trust and mutual respect, creating a space where both partners feel comfortable sharing their hopes and fears and dreams without being ridiculed or rejected. That's a beautiful thing.
It is, and that sense of emotional safety is so essential for building deep, lasting connections. It's about a partnership where both people feel seen, heard, and valued for who they truly are.
Okay, Fury also mentions this perfect man checklist idea. He suggests that women need to revise their criteria for a partner, not necessarily lowering their standards, but changing their focus.
Right. He says it's good to have an idea of your ideal partner, but you have to stay open to the possibility that Mr. Right might not fit perfectly into that image.
So it's about identifying the core values and qualities that truly matter, like kindness, integrity, a shared vision for the future, not getting hung up on superficial things or expecting perfection.
That's the main point. Nobody's perfect.
Mm.
It's about accepting imperfections and finding someone who compliments you, challenges you, and helps you become the best version of yourself.
It's about finding a partner who shares your values, respects who you are, and inspires you to grow. That's what true love is all about, right?
It seems that way. And that brings us to another important aspect of Capture His Heart, understanding the differences between men and women.
Right. We touched on that earlier with the Grand Canyon analogy. What specific insights does the program offer on that?
Well, Fury suggests that men and women often show love and affection in different ways. Women might want constant verbal affirmation and romantic gestures, while men might show love through acts of service, providing support, being reliable.
So it's about recognizing that there isn't one right way to love and understanding how your partner expresses their feelings in their own way.
Exactly. Capture His Heart encourages women to learn their partner's love language, so to speak, to appreciate the different ways men express themselves. It's about looking beyond the surface and seeing the meaning behind their actions.
Seeing that a grand gesture isn't always the most meaningful thing. Sometimes it's those small acts of kindness and support that really matter.
That's a great point. And it ties into the program's overall message of embracing individuality and appreciating the unique qualities each person brings to a relationship.
Capture His Heart seems to offer so much knowledge and advice on navigating the complexities of love and relationships. But in the end, like any program, it's up to the individual to decide what works for them and how to apply it in a way that feels authentic and empowering.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this deep dive so valuable. It's about exploring different perspectives, gaining new insights, and empowering ourselves to make informed choices in our love lives.
Speaking of informed choices, Fury also talks about intuition and recognizing red flags.
Yes, he says that it's good to be open and optimistic when you're dating, but you also have to pay attention to those gut feelings if something feels off. He encourages women to trust their intuition and walk away from situations that don't feel right.
That's such an important message. It's about setting boundaries, prioritizing your well-being, and not settling.
Right. It's about recognizing that true love is built on respect, trust, and understanding. It's not about forcing a connection or ignoring red flags. It's about finding someone who truly sees you, values you, and cherishes you for who you are.
It's about finding someone who adds to your life, inspires you to grow, and supports your dreams. And that's worth waiting for. Fury also mentions timing, knowing when to take things to the next level.
Yes, he talks about recognizing the signs that a man is ready for a deeper commitment and how to avoid rushing things or putting too much pressure on the relationship.
He even has tips on how to avoid getting dumped. Always helpful, right?
Definitely. It's about being mindful of your actions, understanding the dynamics at play, and navigating those early stages of dating with grace and confidence.
It's about building a strong foundation for a healthy relationship, one that can last and grow into something truly special.
Well said. Capture His Heart really does seem to offer a comprehensive approach to finding love. Understanding men's psychology, cultivating self-love, recognizing red flags, fostering healthy communication.
It helps women approach dating with confidence, authenticity, and a deeper understanding of how to create a fulfilling, lasting connection. But there's one final piece we need to explore, the secret ingredient that ties it all together.
The transformative power of self-discovery and the incredible journey it sets in motion. Stay tuned, listeners, as we uncover this final piece in the last part of our deep dive into Capture His Heart and Make Him Love You Forever. Welcome back for the final part of our deep dive into Capture His Heart and Make Him Love You Forever. We've covered a lot of ground, looking at the program's techniques, what it claims to do, and what the potential benefits might be. But now it's time to reveal the secret sauce, that transformative element that really sets it apart.
Okay, I'm intrigued. We've talked about understanding men's fears, mastering the hunter principle, and using the gateway technique. What's the missing piece? What brings it all together?
Even though Capture His Heart has all this practical advice and insightful techniques, the real power comes from its focus on self-discovery and personal growth. It's not just about getting a man, it's about becoming the most magnetic, the most radiant version of yourself.
Ah, so it's about inner work, cultivating that confidence and self-love that attracts people to you naturally.
Exactly. Remember those fears we discussed? The fear of emotions, rejection, not measuring up to Mr. Perfect. Well, the program encourages women to confront those same fears within themselves.
So instead of trying to change men, you deal with your own insecurities and anxieties first. That makes a lot of sense. But how does the program actually help women do that?
Well, Fury emphasizes things like journaling, self-reflection, identifying those limiting beliefs that might be holding you back, not just in love, but in life in general. He encourages women to challenge those negative thoughts, replace them with affirmations of self-worth and self-love.
So it's like rewiring your mindset, going from feeling like there's not enough to feeling abundant and confident. I can see how that would impact everything, not just your relationships.
Absolutely. Capture His Heart recognizes that to attract a truly loving and fulfilling relationship, you have to start by loving and appreciating yourself.
It's such a powerful idea. It's not about trying to fit into some mold or playing games. It's about embracing who you are, flaws and all,
Yeah.
and letting that inner light shine.
That's exactly it. And that's what makes this program so unique. It goes beyond the superficial stuff and helps women go on this journey of self-discovery to see their true worth and step into their power.
It's about recognizing that you deserve love and happiness just as you are. And attracting the right partner starts with believing in yourself and valuing your own unique qualities.
Perfectly said. And that's what makes Capture His Heart stand out. It's not just about techniques and strategies. It's about this transformative journey that helps you create a life full of love, joy, and genuine connection.
It sounds like a really holistic approach to finding love. It works on the inside and the outside. By focusing on self-love and personal growth, women can create this magnetic energy that draws the right partner to them.
That's the heart of Capture His Heart and Make Him Love You Forever. It's about empowering women to be their best selves, radiating confidence, authenticity, and a deep sense of self-worth. And when you do that, love finds its way to you.
Such an inspiring message. It's about recognizing that true love starts within, and the best relationships are built on self-love, respect, and a shared vision.
So true. And while we've explored a lot about this program, it's ultimately up to each person to decide if it feels right for them, if it aligns with their values and goals.
Exactly. We've shared a lot of information and insights, but each listener has to decide what resonates with them and how to apply these principles in a way that feels authentic and empowering.
We encourage you to think about what we've discussed, maybe explore the program further if it calls to you. But most importantly, continue your own journey of self-discovery and growth.
Because that's what really matters. Embracing who you are, cultivating self-love, and creating a life that reflects your heart's desires.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.